The Boston Celtics are 2 wins away from a championship. Robert Williams was awesome on one leg. This crowd in this building was insane. I'm talking about it right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Boston, baby, we do what you can't. Locked on number 18, Tatum and Brown, J-team, step back. We gon' wet that and slay teams. Of course, the Celtics, who else could it be? Screaming like KG with the Larry O.B. Karalis above average, assessing the team status. Best daily pod, no cap, salary matching. Clutch like Bird the DJ, keep John on replay. Prime time, dapping up the truth on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners. B.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast. Thank you for making this show part of your daily routine. I'm here for you now 7 days a week, every single day, as the Celtics march through the playoffs, through the NBA Finals, and now 2 wins away from a championship. I mean, I say 7 days a week. It might only be one more week before the Celtics are champions. Champions. 2 wins away. Wow. It's kind of nuts. In 2 weeks, this season is over. Like in 2 weeks from now, one way or another, the season is over. I can't grasp that. But until then, 2 more weeks, 14 more shows. I'm here for you throughout it all. I'm John Karalis. I cover the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal, and I've written a book called The Boston Celtics All-Time All-Stars. Plus, I was one of the media voters for the 75th anniversary team. Celtics win game 3 here at the Garden, 116-100. And what a ride it was. Early on, Jaylen Brown, huge performance from Jaylen Brown, especially in the first quarter. 17 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Monster first quarter. Celtics got up by about 15. It was 11 heading into the second quarter. Jaylen just had everything working, the whole thing. The Celtics were aggressive. They were moving the ball. They were playing that 0.5 offense. They were really just popping. Everything was popping. Second quarter, it was, back and forth. Klay Thompson had some, big performance there. The Celtics couldn't quite pull away. They went up. They went into the half up 12. Third quarter, Warriors did the Warriors thing. Went off. Steph Curry went off. Klay Thompson went off, combined for 25 points in the third quarter. And at one point, what was an 18-point lead dwindled to a 1-point Warriors lead. And that's a point where the Celtics could have just packed it in, collapsed. But they didn't. They came out. Marcus Smart hit a three-pointer. Celtics went on a run to go up 4 in heading into the fourth, and then a 9-2 run to start the fourth quarter, and ultimately win the game by 16 and run away with it. So first of all, great poise in that moment. The Celtics were able to close the thing out, and rather than fall apart. And you cannot discount the home crowd here. So let's just start here by saying this is the first home finals game in 12 years. It's 2010. Game starts at 9. Place is just madness. You walk in, it's so different being in here for finals, more so than even the conference finals. First of all, the late start. The place is full while guys are out there warming up. It's never full when guys are warming up. Al Horford mentioned it. Jayson Tatum mentioned it after. The mere kind of energy of a full building in here with the warm-ups. It's like you could tell something's going to be different. Why are the Celtics in the third quarter, when Curry hits that three-pointer, why were they able to come back? Well, they settled down, and you can go through a million things on the floor where they were able to say, okay, yep, they put it all together. They came back, played defense, hustle plays, all of that stuff. But you absolutely cannot discount the home court advantage here. The Celtics have gone through this run. It's June. It's June 9th right now. All right. So we're officially entering the middle of June. This season started back in October. It's been a while, right? We're closing in on the next season is like right around the corner. We're only like 3 months away from training camp. It's almost here and we're still playing. So it's been a long season. The Celtics have gotten their asses kicked by Milwaukee, by Miami. They are Rob's on one leg, Marcus is on one leg, Jayson Tatum's arm is hanging off. Jaylen, on the sidelines when he's not playing, getting that hamstring stretched. He's not 100%. Nobody's 100%. I feel like the sands in the hourglass of Al Horford's season are running out. He's just about at the end, right? Like everybody is gassed. So it's not a surprise that the Warriors were able to pull away in game 2 and that Boston is able to hold them off in game 3. That home crowd is actually meaningful because when everybody is just done, when you make a play and that home crowd is cheering and you make a run and they're all behind you and the other team has to call a timeout, that gives you that little bit of adrenaline. It just tricks your brain into releasing that chemical that makes you feel good. It gives you that little extra boost, that little extra thing that makes you go grab that rebound. It makes you go grab that little extra jump. The knee, you forget about the knee for a minute. You forget about that sprained ankle for a minute. You forget about that tight hamstring for a minute. You just see the ball and you say, I'm going for it. And you make the play and you hear the crowd and you're like, yeah. And it's just contagious. It has an impact. That's why the most important game in this series was game 1 when the Celtics won back home court or took home court. And I know the Celtics home court has not been an advantage throughout the course of this series, but it's got to be now. It's got to be. And we saw it over here. And I'm going to get into Rob. Rob was the most important player. I'm going to get into Rob in the next segment, and I'll get into the other guys in the third segment. But the crowd in this building definitely had an impact. Absolutely. So now that makes game 4, I'm getting ahead of myself, game 4 extraordinarily important. The most important now game in the series, because not only did the Celtics go up 3-1 if they win, but you don't want to lose that home court. You lose that home court, you're not getting it back. I just don't feel like they're getting it back. They need to come out in game 5, just come out with that same, come out and play good, play well, play with that 0.5, play with that ball popping, come out and don't come in and start taking quick threes. Don't come in here in game 5 and just start to jack up shots because you're feeling good and you want to come out and throw that knockout punch right away. Come into game 5 and play like you played at the beginning here in game. I'm sorry, I keep saying game 5. Come in game 4 and play like you did in game 3. Come into this next game, feed that crowd, and it will feed you later. That's how this works. You feed the crowd early, and they give it back to you later. All right, but you can't come out and try to do it all in one shot. The way the Celtics did it in this game 3 is exactly right. They played fantastic basketball with poise, but also with speed, with aggression. They were decisive. The Celtics were decisive with the ball. Get it, go. Don't sit around and swing it down between your knees and have that little pendulum, little metronome. Don't do that. And they did that later on in the game. Some of it's going to be because they're tired, but some of it's going to be like they feel like, okay, we're going to close it out with some matchups. And they were able to. Jayson Tatum was able to close out the game in the fourth quarter for sure. But that energy, feed the crowd early. They will feed you the energy later. And I thought that first quarter performance from Jaylen Brown was part of that. This crowd's coming in here at 9 p.m. fully lubed and ready to go, man. They've had a few beers. They are ready to rock. This place is going to go crazy. And, maybe let Draymond know how they feel about them. I thought the Warriors' reaction afterwards, come on. So what? The Celtics dropped a few F-bombs in their chants. Big deal. Big deal. You know what? Grow up. If you can't take it, grow up. You can't be Draymond Green and talk and do all of that stuff that you do and then come in and be upset that they threw an F-bomb at you. Really? After everything that you say and do on the floor, you're going to be critical of an F-bomb? Please. The guy who sat there, fouled out, and stared down an official for 30 seconds, 45 seconds, unprofessional. You're going to sit there and say that you didn't drop F-bombs in front of kids? There were kids in the stands. You're going to say, these guys, the fans, they saw all the stuff in front of kids. You don't think kids can hear all the stuff that Draymond said on the sideline? Get out of here. Stop with this disingenuous crap. Anyway, the crowd has an impact. It clearly has an impact. Robert Williams was the star of this game for me. Robert Williams was the star of this game for me. I'm going to talk about it next. The star of your car and its needs is Rock Auto. Go to Rock Auto for anything your car needs, or truck or motorcycle or SUV or RV or anything that you're driving around with a motor. You can fix it with parts that you get at RockAuto.com. No matter how complicated, no matter how simple, it's all there at Rock Auto. So go check it out. Don't spend 30 to 50 to 100% more at a dealership or one of those chain stores at a strip mall. They can't possibly stock all of the things that every car needs. You're going to go there. It's either going to be out of stock or they're going to give you the one thing that they have that's from a manufacturer that they carry. You don't want that. You want choices. You want different price points. Maybe you want to spend a little extra to make sure you get something that you feel comfortable buying. Maybe you're on a budget and you're like, you know what? This is going to make do for now. It's all there at rockauto.com. And no matter what it is, I'm betting you're going to find it cheaper than you're going to find it anywhere else. So don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. Enter all the information at rockauto.com. It's a very expansive, easy to use catalog, and you're going to find great, great deals. I know plenty of people who have. So go to rockauto.com right now. See all the parts are available for your car, truck, SUV, everything. Write Locked On in there. How did you hear about us box? That's how they know we sent you. Get to write Locked On in there. How did you hear about us box? It's an amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need at rockauto.com. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Again, 7 days a week. Hey, the ultimate mock draft, the ultimate NBA mock draft starts on June 16th. That's in about a week here with over 50 insiders. Nothing equals the ultimate NBA mock draft. The Locked On NBA Big Board draft experts plus the Odyssey insiders. First pick is June 16th. You can search the ultimate NBA mock draft and follow now so you don't miss a pick. Looking at this performance here from Robert Williams. Robert Williams, the star of this game for me. Now, the Celtics were the first team since the 84 Lakers to have a finals performance where three guys scored more than 20 points and those same three guys had 5 or more assists. So it's Tatum with 26 and 9, Jaylen Brown with 27 and 5, Marcus Smart with 24 and 5. So three guys doing the bulk of the work there. They scored, 77 of Boston's 116 points, and they had 19 of Boston's 28 assists. But I think Robert Williams was the most important player in this game, not just his energy, his hustle, and his just pushing through the knee injury, which is very obviously still bothering him and is going to continue to bother him. 8 points for him. Okay, yeah, so what, right? So 4 or 5. Had a dunk, an alley-oop, a putback, 10 rebounds. 3 of those are offensive. 3 steals, which is awesome, 4 blocked shots, but he didn't just block shots. I mean, this dude was, I saw a few instances of like Jordan Poole getting around the corner and seeing Rob and was like, nope, I'm just going to go out this way. I'm not going to deal with Rob because I know he's going to, I think I have a good shot. Rob makes this not a good shot. I'm not going to get my stuff fed back to me. That happened on multiple occasions. So 4 blocked shots, 8 saved points, but also probably another 6, 8, 10 points that he saved just by protecting the rim with his mere presence. But beyond that, you have a guy like his first block shot was on Gary Payton, and then he lands a little awkwardly, and you can see him just kind of like, you know, the wobbly tire. He's just limping his way back down the floor. The difference between Rob in this game and in game 2 was that he is so much more under control. I feel like he learned a little bit more, whether it's through the film session, through discussions with guys. He learned a little bit more about how to play with this injury. It's so important for a guy who's playing hurt. And let me tell you something. I know there's a couple of my old teammates who like to listen to the podcast or watch. Gabe and Ken, you know, they will vouch for this. No one knows about playing hurt more than I do. I played hurt like for years. I played hurt basically most of my life. It's hard to play hurt if you're thinking about it. It's hard to you just, it's very easy to get out of control because you let the injury kind of get into your head. You go out and you are afraid to land on that knee because it hurts. So you jump, you want to make the play, but then you jump. And then instead of just landing and going back and just dealing with the pain, you land and take a couple of steps forward because that's how you lessen the pain. You land and go forward because it takes the pressure off of the knee, right? But that makes you play out of control. In game 2, I felt like Robert Williams played out of control. But if you're able to just gut through it, clench that jaw, get that deep, that kind of grunty, like, okay, just get through it. If you can do that and you land and you're like, I'm dealing with this, I don't care, and you get back and you can play a little bit more under control, understanding that you're not going to jump as high or not jump as far or whatever. And look, when I say that about Rob, he still jumped pretty damn high. He looked pretty much himself for a lot of these plays. Just it takes a lot more out of him. It's like that energy meter in a video game. It drops a little bit more than usual, and it takes a little while for it to get back up. But playing under control, just accepting the pain and getting back, that is the difference between pulling yourself out of a play and staying with it and being in position to do something like simply deter somebody from getting into the lane. Just being there, understanding this is such a huge development just game to game for Robert Williams. Understanding that when you do what you did in game 2 and took yourself out of a play a little too much, you've given a brief kind of like red carpet to the other team and say, oh God, Rob's out of the way. Boom, I'm gone. Your teammates have to cover for you. Then that leaves, so a pass against these Warriors, pass, boom. You're out of the play for a second, pass, boom, dunk. Like that's what the Warriors do. So just for Rob to get into that mode in game 3, super, super impressive. And Al Horford talked about it afterwards, talked about how you talk to Rob and he listens and he processes and he learns. I asked Marcus Smart because no one knows what it's like to play hurt more than Marcus Smart, right? He does it. And, you know, I joke about me never always playing hurt, but Marcus is doing it at the NBA level. He said, I'm always talking to Rob, and I talked to him and, said, hey, look, I'm paraphrasing, but he said, you know your body and what you can play through, but also understand that we're doing something special here, and you don't know when this is going to be back. You can't sit there and be like, we'll get them next year. I'm just going to sit out and we'll just go back to the finals next year. It's not guaranteed. You have no idea. You have no idea what Milwaukee's going to do or what Brooklyn's going to do or Toronto somehow reloading or Charlotte figuring something out or, Miami figuring something. Like all of these things, you have no idea. So now's your time. Now's the opportunity. So take advantage of that now. And Marcus said, Rob put his big boy pants on and sucked it up and came out here and played. And that's what he did. The hustle plays in the fourth quarter, getting up and tipping rebounds, diving, just finding a way to grab a ball, to tip a ball, to keep a play alive, all of that stuff. That's why the Celtics were able to win. Keeping the ball alive, get it to a guy who can make a play. That stuff, the 50-50 balls. It's always those little things. The Celtics in this game were able to throw a cross-court pass because they were able to throw it a step sooner rather than let somebody step into the paint, step into the passing lane. They were able to get to those loose balls. They were able to get past the defender, get to the rim, all of that stuff. Rob was a huge, huge reason why. His energy, that also infectious. Talk about the crowd. Rob was infectious. That's the type of stuff. That's leadership like anybody else is leading. When everybody's sitting there and says, you know what, Rob is playing on one leg, we notice. We know he's playing on that one leg. If he's doing it, we got to go out there and give it our best. So Rob was a huge, huge, I think, factor in this win. But obviously, you got Tatum and Brown and Smart. I'm going to talk about those guys next. First, though, let's talk about Built Bar. How about caramel brownie, chewy, chocolatey brownie, caramel brownie with caramel swirled on top. It's so good, and you can have all that chewy deliciousness plus 17 grams of protein. It's all right there. It's at Built.com. Caramel brownie bars are available now at Built.com, but you got to act fast because they're a fan favorite, and they will disappear quickly. Forget about dessert. These are better than dessert, and they're only 130 calories, 17 grams of protein, 4 grams of sugar. So replace that regular brownie with Built's caramel brownie bar right now, covered in 100% chocolate and made with collagen protein, which your body absorbs more efficiently and provides tons of health benefits. So there are a million reasons why you should try Built Bars. And let's just say caramel brownie will rock your world. Go to Built.com right now. Use the promo code LOCK15. You get 15% off every single time. Use LOCK15 every single time. Get your caramel brownie. Get whatever you want. Go back for more. Every time, use that promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at Built.com. So the Celtics take game 3, 2 wins away from a championship. Jaylen Brown was huge in this game. 27 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, a block, just 2 turnovers. Just a great overall game from him. Set the tone early, made some big plays late. I thought two important plays were his recognition was very notable. One earlier in the game where there was a steal and Horford gets it up to Jayson Tatum and Brown recognizes like, okay, I got to go. And it's a simple little thing. And you think that everybody should be doing it, but a lot of times guys just kind of like lollygag a little bit. They don't give it 100% effort. And Jaylen runs, sprints, makes that sprint, and all of a sudden it's a dunk for him from Tatum. And then later in the game, third quarter, after a great defensive play from Marcus Smart, Forget who he knocked it off of, but it went off the Warriors. Al Horford inbounds the ball. This is an amazing play. Jaylen streaks down the right side. Horford, touchdown pass. Boop. That was a great play. And Jaylen, great recognition. So great recognition from him. I thought he had a really good overall game. 4 of 8, shot 56% from the field, 50 from 3, 83% from the line. It was great game from him. Tatum, 26 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds, a steal, just 2 turnovers for him. Let me just say that the points off turnovers were relatively equal. I think Boston won that by 2. So the turnover battle, the points off a turnover battle was not the factor in this game, which is kind of good. I mean, each team had their moments where the turnovers were bad, but nothing egregious until we talk about Marcus Smart. But Tatum had a stretch there where he was just missing layups. And you can say a couple of them were probably fouls, but he was missing layups, but he recovered well. And in the fourth quarter, when it came time to close, he had a couple of great drives. Celtics were aggressive. I said after the last game, the Celtics have to drive, and Tatum has to channel his inner Giannis Antetokounmpo. It wasn't exactly that, but they really did push and push the tempo and drive and be aggressive, much more so than in game 2, and I thought that paid off. So Tatum, great closing stretch to get to the rim and play well. Marcus Smart was an interesting guy here. So 24 points, 5 assists, 7 rebounds, great there. 5 turnovers was not great. So Smart shot 8 of 17, 47%. That's okay. 3 of 7 from 3. That's good, 43%. 5 of 7 from the line. I mean, the missed free throws add up, and the Celtics shot 17 of 24, which is not good enough, 71%. You look at it, Jayson Tatum, 5 of 6. Horford missed 2. Jaylen Brown, 5 of 6. Smart, 5 of 7. Grant Williams, 1 of 2. It's not so bad when you look at okay, Horford missed 2 free throws. It's uncharacteristic. But when you look at it overall, 17 of 24, you leave 7 points at the free throw line. Could have been an even more comfortable win. But Smart he had a stretch where he threw some of the worst turnovers you could throw. And he had a very bad, costly, try too hard type of stretch. But at the same time, first of all, he settled down after that and didn't throw those turnovers. And secondly, he passed up a lot of shots. Now, he was 8 of 17 and 3 of 7 from 3, but I thought he did a great job passing up shots that turned into assists. He passed up a lot of shots that he would normally take, and I thought that was a very important element to the win. So I think overall, the turnovers versus the other stuff that he did well is probably 65-35 if you wanted to, because those turnovers were bad. They were really bad. But he settled down, and I thought ultimately he was a huge part of the win. The 3-pointer after the Curry 3-pointer was huge, and that turned the game around. That was the actual turning point where the Warriors never had the lead back after that. And then the bank shot 3 was a big deal. Hey, sometimes you need some luck in a bank shot 3. So overall, Smart, I'm gonna say thumbs up for Marcus Smart, with the obvious caveat. Horford, not his hugest game in the world, but he took advantage of Steph Curry in foul trouble. He took advantage of the smaller guys, and when he got switched onto them in the post, he scored. But he also gave back some of those points on the defensive end. He's had some trouble switching on to some of those smaller guys, Curry in particular. That flagrant foul, that 7-point stretch, was a killer. I mean, it's such an aberration. Obviously never see that. A foul and a 3-pointer, that landing spot foul. That was a tough one, but I can see why. And in today's league, that's what that is. You have to give the guy a spot to land. And if your foot is there and he lands on it, they're going to call that a flagrant foul. That's happened to the Celtics. It's happened against the Celtics. It's not something that you can really, it is what it is. And then, of course, they come out and hit a 3 after that. Curry makes the free throw, 7-point swing. It became a 2-point game. So 9-point game down to a 2-point game in an instant. If that was just a normal course of action, normal course of like a basketball game, maybe they never take the lead. But hey, it is what it is. So, but Horford, I thought was decent there. Grant Williams had some good moments. Big 3-pointer at the end. Hustle plays like crazy. The Celtics, the game got pretty drunk at the beginning of the fourth quarter, but the Celtics were able to make the 50-50 plays. That's what it came down to. Make the 50-50 plays. All right, I'm going to get out of the garden because it is 10 of 4. Oh, my God, it is 10 of 4. So I got to get home and edit this podcast so you can listen to it and watch it and all of that. So it'll be there for you. As I go to bed, you'll be going to work. And I hope you enjoy the podcast. We're continuing to make progress on the YouTube side. Past 6,800 subscribers. Want to get to 7,500 by the end of the finals, by the end of the championship parade, because the Celtics are 2 wins away from an NBA championship, which is still wild to me. So I will be here for you every day until that happens. So make sure you're listening and make sure you're subscribed. And if you are subscribed, make sure you share the podcast. Tell your friends, tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network.